The Cincinnati Bengals versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is who's in, who's out, and everything you need to know about this game. So, the 3-6 Bengals travel to Pittsburgh to take on the 5-4 Steelers at Acrisure Stadium. This will take place tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and the Pittsburgh Steelers and both the Bengals have a ton of injuries going against each other. But first, before I tell you who's in, who's out, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also like this video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, let's start off with the Steelers, because the Steelers have a lengthy injury report, and we're going to start off with the players confirmed with the game status. And that is cornerback Darius Slay, who's dealing with a concussion and is ruled out for this week's game. Also, Cole Holcomb, he's still dealing with the illness. He's been out the past 2 weeks. He continues to be out for this week's game as well. Also, linebacker Alex Highsmith, he's dealing with a pectoral injury, and he's been ruled out for this week's game. Corey Trace Jr., who this is his final week of activation off of injury reserve, he's dealing now with a knee injury and also a hamstring injury, and he continues to be out and not activated off of IR. And the last one is guard Isaac Seumalo. He missed last week's game with a pectoral injury, and this week he's ruled questionable. So at least that's a better sign, because he did practice in practice. So, looking at some other players who will be back, who are dealing with injuries this week and who missed last week's game, Scotty Miller with a finger injury. He practiced in full. He'll be ready to go. Jabril Peppers missed last week's game and a couple weeks ago with a quad injury. He practiced in full and will be ready to go as well. Brock Jones has been dealing with a groin injury. He'll be ready to go as well with a full participant. So, the Pittsburgh Steelers have 5 players with a game status for this week's game who may be out, 4 confirmed. Now, let's go over to the Cincinnati Bengals side of the ball, because they as well are dealing with a ton of injuries to their team. And we're going to start off with Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow returned to practice this week from injury reserve. That means his activation window has been opened to 21 days. And that means that he appears on the injury report. And Joe Burrow, he practiced this week, so he still has a toe injury, but he's been ruled out. You look at Trey Hendrickson, he missed last matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers when they faced last time, and he continues to miss time because he's dealing with a pelvis injury and a hip injury, and he has been ruled out. You look at halfback Samaje Perine with an ankle injury. He has been ruled out as well. That means that Chase Brown will see some extra time. And you also look at defensive end Shamir Stewart, the rookie with a knee injury. He's been ruled out as well. The player they have questionable is guard Lucas Patrick with a calf injury. He is ruled questionable. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have 5 injuries with a game status, and the Cincinnati Bengals have 5 players as well with a game status. So both teams are dealing with a ton of injuries, and the Bengals have even more, but then they are ready to go, and they didn't have a game status. So both teams are injured. Both teams will be able to play each other, not at full strength. So it's kind of an even matchup if we're looking at that from that point of view. Other than the quarterback is probably the main one, because the Steelers have Aaron Rodgers, and then the Bengals have Joe Flacco. Even though Joe Flacco played amazing last time we faced them. So, that's who's in, that's who's out, who won't and will be playing in this week's matchup. And when you look at how this affects the game, before I get more into the game in general, you look at obviously Joe Burrow being out. That affects everything from what the Bengals want to do. He's been out for most of the season, so as of right now, Joe Flacco should feel 100% comfortable, along with the Bengals teammates with him, so maybe it doesn't affect it as much, but in terms of what you would have done at the beginning of the season and the scheme that you have to change, it does affect. Trey Hendrickson affects everything because he's their whole pressure system for the Bengals defense, and without him, the Bengals defense is even terrible, more terrible than they already are, so him being out affects everything for their defense. And then Samaje Perine, he is their third down running back. He is a great running back for them and their system, and kind of giving Chase Brown some relief when he's tired, and just relief in general from the game. So that means that Chase Brown will see a lot more time. Whether that's a benefit or a disadvantage, we're going to have to wait and see. But that affects a lot for their offense because he is their third down blocking running back as well. So that's how it affects the side of the Bengals. And you look at the Steelers, at Cole Holcomb being out affects the middle of the field because now Peyton Wilson, it relies more on him, and now Malik Harrison has to play even more, even though this has been going on for 3 weeks now. So Alex Highsmith being out affects everything because now Nick Herbig is in all the time. And you know how great Alex Highsmith is when he's healthy and playing, in terms of getting pressures, in terms of stopping the run, just doing everything. Alex Highsmith is a big piece of this defense, and him being out affects a lot. He's been out prior weeks, and that has affected a lot. And obviously Nick Herbig has stepped up. But obviously this means that there won't be any relief of, hey, TJ Watt goes to the sideline, Nick Herbig gets put in the game. Alex Highsmith goes to the sideline, Nick Herbig gets put in the game. No, now it's going to be lower tier guys like, hey, Jack Sawyer or another player moving over to play the edge position, and you won't be able to substitute him or TJ and Alex with Nick Herbig. No, because Nick Herbig is going to be in the game most of the time now, or taken out when he needs rest. And it's not going to be the opposite. Also, Darius Slay being out means that other players are going to have to step up. Maybe we see an activation of the newly acquired Asante Samuel Jr., or maybe we don't. But that means obviously James Pierre may have a start in this week's game. Or maybe Brandon Eccles gets more time. So that affects the Steelers. And Isaac Seumalo, if he's out, that means Spencer Anderson. The Pittsburgh Steelers may go with Andres Pete sometimes. So then they can use Spencer Anderson in a big package. Because if they use Spencer Anderson, then they don't have no one to bring in as extra offense line. So that affects a lot there. Because if Isaac Seumalo's in there, then you could just use Spencer Anderson strictly as an extra offense line. So the injuries affect a lot of things for both teams. Now looking at this game actually being played in general, what do the Steelers need to do to win this game? Well, the Steelers need to actually find some momentum and score points because they've been struggling, especially early in games, to score any type of points. And then that leads throughout the game, and then they're not able to put up any points, and then their team loses. And it's such a low margin that they're losing by, or it's such a winnable game that it just looks so awful on the Steelers side of the ball. And on the defense side of the ball for the Steelers, they need to find some momentum as well. Yes, they played good a few weeks, but other than that, they've been letting up so many points. If you just look at the last matchup with the Bengals were able to score, 4+ touchdowns against the Steelers, do whatever they wanted. The defense looked absolutely terrible. So, yes, the defense has looked good last week, but in general throughout the season, they need to step it up as well. I'm not giving the defense any type of pass here because they've been slacking all year. They're the highest paid defense for a reason, and they haven't been able to stop teams. And just 1 week out of 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, you just do good every other week or every third week. That's not going to cut it. The Steelers defense needs to step up and show that you can actually stop Joe Flacco. It's Joe Flacco, 40-year-old Joe Flacco. You need to be able to stop him. He's going to stand in the pockets. You know what he's going to do. He's going to get the ball out of his hand. It's a scheme. It's a defense of players. You just need to step up. And that's how the Steelers win this game. Find momentum, start scoring, run the ball, pass the ball, get your actual wide receivers involved in the game and not just have one guy, DK Metcalf, get targeted 2 times, Kelvin Austin get targeted 2 times, and you don't pass the ball. Get a momentum, get things rolling on offense, and then the defense actually plays like a top tier defense. That's just how the Steelers need to play. And you should kind of expect it. Because if you don't expect it, then you're just putting them at a low tier and expecting the worst. And for the Bengals, they just do what they did last time. If they play the exact same way that they played versus the Pittsburgh Steelers last time they faced them, which was get every single wide receiver involved, throw to Jamar Chase nonstop, 21 targets, throw to T. Higgins nonstop, and just get Chase Brown involved, then they'll win this game. If they play the exact same way they played last time in terms of scoring points and put up the exact same points, they win that game. So the Steelers need to stop the Bengals, and the Bengals need to do exactly the same thing they did last time. And that's the keys to the game for both teams. Not let pressure on Joe Flacco, and the Bengals have a chance. Anyway, that is the end of this video, but before I end it, who do I think wins this game? It's really tricky, because I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will win it, but whenever the Steelers face Joe Flacco, whether it was with the Colts and he was there for one game there, and it was versus the Bengals, or when he was with the Ravens, they just can't stop him. So I want to say the Pittsburgh Steelers win this game. But in reality, you just never know because the Steelers always play down to competition. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Who wins this game, the Steelers or the Bengals? And also, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, analysis, reports, everything surrounding this team. I have you covered all season long. Doesn't matter what it is, game previews, everything like that. So stay tuned to this channel, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. And until the next video on Monday, I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.